The woman you have by your side is a reflection of your standards, and a good wife equals the highest form of social status you will ever achieve as a man. In fact, your entire reputation in society will boil down to the woman you have by your side. You can always judge a man by the quality of woman he married. And in this video, I'm going to give you the reasons as to why this is true. In order to do so, I'm going to use two case studies. Number one is from Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith. We all know what happened there. And secondly, Logan Paul and his fiancée Nina, who has a reputation of sleeping around and is a well-known gold digger. And this has greatly impacted the life of this famous young influencer who, for the time, was doing very well in his life. In this video, I'm going to explain why your wife is a reflection of your standards, the negative effects of a bad wife using scripture, and the positive effects of a good wife also using the Bible. And I'm going to tie it all together with a conclusion. So this is the topic for today's video. The most important decision you will ever make in your life, other than your salvation with God through Jesus Christ, comes down to the woman you choose to marry, the woman you build a family with. This will impact the entire quality for the rest of your existence, and it will affect those around you too. So let's start this lesson off with a Bible verse that encompasses the overall theme of this topic. From the book of Sirach, verse 26 to 23 says the following: A wicked woman is given as a portion to a wicked man, but a godly woman is given to him that feareth the Lord. I want you to keep this verse in mind as we go throughout this video. It's all going to come full circle. One thing I often say to my clients, for the people who have been watching me for a long time on YouTube know, I often say it's only harder to find a good woman if you're not a good man. I see a lot of bitter, aggressive, weak, cowardly, lustful men full of red flags and anger towards women, complaining that they look everywhere and they just can't find a good woman. But they're forgetting that it starts with them, and they themselves are godless. They themselves are not husband material, and they're surprised they can't seem to find good women. Good women are out there, they're just staying far away from you. And all you have to do is recognize you have a knowledge gap and that it's time to fill it in. Humble yourself and learn. That is what you have to do, because you always reap what you sow. A lot of men in society can hide behind all the money they make. They can hide behind their good looks, how attractive they are, how much of a reputation they've built up in their industry, in their career or business, the workplace, on all their personal achievements. But at the end of the day, a man's true value and true standards are revealed with the woman he chooses to lie with that night. That tells you all you need to know. And you can't fake that at the end of the day. So remember, if you're wicked, you do something evil, something hide, you're not going to get a good woman. God ain't going to allow that. Well, number one, your wife is a reflection of your standards. So in this verse, the contrast between a wicked woman and a godly man is made clear. The type of partner a person receives is often a reflection of their own character and values, whether they're blinded by ignorance or they willingly turn a blind eye. Truth is truth. If it hurts, you just have to deal with it. Grow a pair of balls. A wicked woman is given to a wicked man. This implies that men with negative, it could be you're cowardly, you're insecure, you're weak, or immoral qualities. You don't value loyalty, you're selfish, you're vain. You might be attracted to or end up with a woman who shares similar negative traits. Like attracts like. And in such cases, their union may be characterized by discord, strife, and righteousness, anger, fighting. But a godly woman is given to him that feareth the Lord. For those of you who don't know, this means in Old English, to those who respect and admire God. A man who respects and has deep reverence, deep admiration for God is someone with strong moral and spiritual values. And he's more likely to be blessed with a woman who shared those high moral standards, those virtues. So a godly woman in this context is a woman with high standards, And she's given as to complement a man, to enhance the quality of his life. So at the end of the day, you really get what you are. And a lot of men want to victimize themselves. Over the years, I've done hundreds of case studies. The emails I have received from men in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, the US, Canada, Europe, some in Asia. It doesn't matter what continent or what age you are. I've seen it time and time again with guys constantly putting themselves in situations with trash quality women. And oftentimes these men, they had some type of quality that got them there in the first place to be with such women. If it happens once, fair enough, you have a knowledge gap, you had a bad relationship. But 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times, everywhere you go, you seem to find bad women, then that's on you. It's the man in the mirror who needs to change, because you do get what you are. So let's take a look at the Logan Paul situation and Will Smith. There isn't much to say about Will Simp. We've all heard what happened here. We've all watched the movies, right? Will Smith was a very famous actor, did very well for himself, charismatic, talented, handsome, successful. And his downfall was the woman he had by his side. Now he's mocked at. No one can respect him anymore. You can go back and watch I Am Legend, Hancock, Bad Boys, Men in Black, and you'll never be able to see Will Smith as a masculine man ever again. I mean, his wife cheated on him with one of their son's friends, and she was never over her ex 2-pack. And yet he tried to make it work with it for all those years. If he had chosen to walk away when she betrayed him, because biblically speaking, if there is infidelity, you can leave, fair enough, but he chose to stay. He willingly cucked himself for a woman that wouldn't care if he got ran over tomorrow. All of that masculinity that he portrays on a screen, it's all smoke. It's not real. Acting is professional lying. And look at his personal life. It's a mess. You could never take advice or look up to a man like this. So having a bad woman is always going to be a reflection of him. Even though he maybe was innocent, he's done nothing wrong. If you are overlooking red flags of a degenerate trash woman that doesn't want you in her life, who looks down on you, doesn't even respect you, where's your self-respect? There's got to be something wrong with you, because she's a mirror reflection back to you. Because quite frankly, if you come across a bad woman, you vet her in the dating stage, in the courtship stage. You don't let it get to the point where you put a ring on it and then you realize she's bad for you. If you're smart and know what you're doing. And if for whatever reason you find out later on she's wrong for you, you leave. But he didn't. So he showcased who he really is. Now Will Smith is done for. No one wants anything to do with him. The next point is Logan Paul. This is for more of the younger audience that are watching it. They've all heard this. Logan Paul was very famous on Vine back in the day, which was the old TikTok. And he built up he blew up on social media over the years, made his money. Right now his net worth, I looked the other day, originally I thought it was around $75 million, but he's making over 200 million in profits. I mean, you give this guy 10 more years, he'll be well on his way to being a billionaire, which is very, very rare. And anyways, the point is, the guy takes good care of himself physically. He's healthy. He found a way to make good money for himself. Money that can take care of his bloodline for a millennium if the rapture doesn't come, right? He can take care of his family. He can really give with that money and help those around him. That's taken care of. He ruined his reputation a few years back with the whole forest situation thing in Japan, the video he shouldn't have filmed. But he somewhat redeemed himself. But anyways, this comes to the point now. The man's love life. Logan Paul is a man who's openly mocked and laughed at Jesus Christ. I know he's involved with some bad people, but God shall not be mocked. This man who's built himself up as an internet persona, as a young guy, late 20s, maybe early 30s, very impressive at that age. He got himself a very pretty Danish model, Nina Agdal, very pretty girl. But the thing about Nina Agdal, she's been absolutely ran through. I mean, you look at the clips of her, they're engaged, but she has videos on the internet saying that I wish a guy could come over and smash me, and saying other inappropriate, intimate things that you shouldn't be saying as someone who's in a commitment with another man. She also has a track record of being smashed by other men in Hollywood, such as DiCaprio, and other men who are known to be promiscuous too. And because of that, Logan Paul's reputation is a little bit tarnished. Logan Paul has had some fights recently in boxing, and even other boxers have mocked him and said, your wife is a slut. You know, your fiance is a hoe. Everyone has access to this woman's naked pictures online. I mean, her reputation precedes her. So then you have to question somewhere deep down in this guy's psyche. You're smart enough to make very high 7 to 8 figures as a man. You're in amazing shape. You obviously have some form of self-respect. But you choose to bet all your chips on a woman with a body count that's well over double figures. I mean, this ruins everything. You can't look at this guy and see him as a man, because this is the woman by his side. And you can see all the issues he's going through now. It's public. That's what happens when you become famous. Your life is for everyone to see, and you can't turn it around. The doors will never close. But his reputation is out there now, and it's ruined because he's with a woman like this. There is much more information you can research on the internet in your own time, and you can even see how they interact with each other. When he proposed to her, she's not even that into it. She's very vain, superficial. You know, this is not a good role model as a woman for you to marry and then to become the mother of your children. Very dangerous territory you're walking. And this is what you see. She disrespects him openly, in public. Again, do your own research. Which brings me back to the main theme of this lesson. A good wife is the highest form of status. You can make millions, right? Have all the luxury homes, all the expensive sports cars if you're into that kind of selfish lifestyle. But if you do and you make all of that, and your girl's been ran through, and she's a hoe, all of a sudden, all the wealth you built up means absolutely nothing. No one would trade their life to be Logan Paul. No man would trade his circumstances to be Will Smith. It's not happening. Because fame, status, in reality, those things don't matter. All that matters is love. All that matters is God's blueprint for mankind, which is to love and honor God with your life, to be fruitful and multiply, to find a good wife, to marry her, to bear children, to raise them up in accordance to God's principles, and live peaceably with your fellow man, with your neighbor, right? Give back to your community, live an honorable, peaceful, humble life. And oftentimes young men will look up to these Will Smiths and these Logan Pauls and these famous influencers, and they think they need to be a multimillionaire by their 20s. Fast money comes a big ego. Slow success builds character. And a lot of these men, they become very famous online with their acting, with their social media, with maybe they're athletes, celebrities. And their life becomes so superficial, gets to their head. But you can always judge a man by the quality of woman he has by his side. And that's what happened to those two men, Logan Paul and Will Smith. All the wealth in the world doesn't mean anything. What's the point of having all that money in the bank if you're married to a gold digger that doesn't value it? But if you have a good woman by your side and you make enough money to take care of her, not only will she be happy to live within your means, but if for whatever reason you do become very financially successful, your wife, if she's a good wife, she'll be proud of you. She'll be happy for you. She'll be grateful for a man like you, no matter what happens. So let's go through the negative effects of a bad wife. So the book of Ecclesiasticus, also known as the book of Sirach, gives us the wisdom on why having a bad wife can be detrimental. And here are some key points from the book to explain why having a bad wife is bad for you. I'm going to have a sip of my coffee first. Number one is a bad wife has a contentious nature, meaning she fights, she argues, talks back. Sirach 25 verse 16 tells us, a wicked wife is a churning and a continual dripping. What does this mean? That a bad wife is characterized by continuous quarrelsome nature, ongoing strife and fighting in the household, like dripping. You know, when you see a leak from the roof and it's annoying and it keeps going, you cover it up, but it continues on. It's the same thing. You can try and stop her, but a bad wife is not going to respect you. She's not going to submit to you. Jada Pinkett Smith. The next thing is lack of peace. Do you think Will Smith or Logan Paul has lack of peace when a woman like that's ruined your reputation in the eyes of men and of God? I don't think so. Sirach 36 verse 24 tells us, where there is no hedge, the possession will be plundered, and where there is no wife, she will groan in mourning. A bad wife can disrupt the peace and tranquility of the home, causing distress and unhappiness. Bad women don't marry for the right reasons. It will make your life a war zone, whereas a good woman brings you peace. The next thing is wasted wealth. Sirach 25:20 tells us that he that hath a wicked wife is a sorrowful man. He that marrieth her is a leper. Marrying a bad wife can lead to financial wastage and sorrow, misery, unnecessary loss and heartbreak. She may waste away your hard-earned money, your assets. Okay? She'll make poor financial decisions because she doesn't live within your means. She doesn't respect who you are. She's using you as a wallet. That's what happens when you get with a gold digger. And it's one of the consequences of being with a bad wife. The next is disgrace in society. Well, Will Smith, there we go. And Logan Paul. And I'm sure there's 50 million more examples I could throw out here. Maybe even look at your own life. Maybe it was your previous relationship. Maybe it's someone you know in your family, in your friend group, in your community. Maybe someone from your country who's famous. You heard it happen to them too. Just because you have a level of fame or financial status, or you've achieved something in a certain industry as a man, to a degree, that isn't going to make or break you as a man. It's the woman you have by your side. And there's a lot of successful multimillionaires and billionaires that have trash women in their life. That guy may be financially well off, but he's not a successful man. The kids don't respect him. The wife is a gold digger. You know, I'd rather be the poor guy, the guy making minimum wage, but who has a good woman by his side who loves him for who he is. I mean, it's just, if you put your problems into a pile with everyone else, and you looked at what everyone was going through, you'd bring out your problems and take them right back. It's very easy to fetishize someone else's life who's on TV or a celebrity, but behind closed doors, most of them are miserable. Their foundation is wrong. So, disgrace in society. Sirach 25:22 tells us that a bad wife brings disgrace, downcast looks and a wounded heart. Has Jada Pinkett Smith brought Will Smith disgrace? Does he get bad looks? Does he have a wounded heart? What about Logan Paul? What about you watching, the viewer? Tell me in the comment section down below. So a bad wife's behavior can bring shame and humiliation, not only within the family, but also in the broader community. The next is the diminished reputation. 26:7 Sirach. A bad wife is a chafing yoke. He who marries her is like grasping a scorpion. I love that Bible verse. So marrying a bad woman can ruin your reputation and cause emotional pain, leaving a dangerous sting. For example, picking up a scorpion hits you with a stinger and you'll go right off to the hospital. You might not come out alive after that, depending on the scorpion breed, right? And it's the same thing. Sometimes you have a woman that ruins your reputation so much, these guys, they off themselves. They can't take it. The next is unhappiness. A woman will receive every man, yet is one daughter better than another. The beauty of a woman cheereth the countenance. Sirach 36:22. A lot of this verse is cut off here, but I put the important part, and I'll explain. So, every woman is going to be with some man at some point. But what it's telling us is that there are some daughters, there are some women that are better than others. Some women have more honor than others. And yes, the beauty of a woman will cheer up a guy, make him smile. But if she's a bad wife and he gets one of the bad daughters, then guess what? The husband isn't going to be a happy man. It's going to affect his well-being. Whereas a good wife is going to bring you joy. She's going to make you smile. Incompatibility is the next. Sirach 30 verse 16 tells us that very little is better than much, if it be in a man's power to be satisfied therewith. There's also another Bible verse, Proverbs 31 verse 12 tells us that a good woman, she treats her husband so well that he lacks nothing of value outside of her. All he needs is her. So in the sense of when you're compatible with your values, with your belief system, with your wife, she's a good woman. She's all you need. You don't need extra things in life. You're satisfied with what you have. But when you have a bad wife, it results in a lack of compatibility. You have different lifestyles, you want different things, you're heading in different directions. So this satisfaction within your marriage makes life very difficult to enjoy. Lack of trust. Next one. Sirach 26:14. A silent and a loving woman is a gift from the Lord. It's a sign of a good woman. But I wrote this here for a reason. What is the opposite? A bad wife is not going to inspire any trust in you or make you feel any love or bring you peace. Instead, it will create an ambience where you're always doubting her. You're always suspicious about your relationship. Who's she texting? Where is she going? Where is she? What is she doing? You don't trust her. So if a silent and loving woman is a gift from the Lord, a loud and selfish woman is not a gift. The opposite. So you want to be very careful with that. Do you think Will Smith trusts his wife? Do you think Logan Paul trusts his fiance deep down? I don't think so. The next is strained family life. This does happen when you marry a bad woman. Sirach 25:23. A bad wife in a portion poured out upon the hands of the neighbors. A tongue that is evil, so is a woman which is contentious. Meaning a woman that's always arguing, she's difficult to be with. She won't submit, she won't follow your lead. She will not only strain your relationship, but those around her. Your family, your close friends, your neighbors. Everything's conflict with her. This is where you hear stories of guys, dude, your girlfriend's crazy, right? Bro, your wife, something's wrong with her. Wow, your family sucks. I mean, it will affect that reputation too. A bad wife, she pours out this bitterness on everyone she touches. And even though you're maybe a sweet, kind, innocent man, you're standing there like a retard, it makes you look worse. Because she's on your arm. You chose her. And if you chose her, people are going to question, did he not see the red flags? Did he not see what sort of woman she is? If everyone else can see it? And from all the case studies I've seen over the years, guys like to say, well, I didn't see it coming. I ask them a few questions, they give me a background run of the girl. The red flags were there at the beginning. And they just ignored them, so they became deal breakers in the end. You know what sort of woman you're dealing with. You just don't want to accept the reality of it till it's too late. And finally, the impact on children of being with a bad woman. This is a harsh one. But Sirach 22 verse 3 tells us, in this case with a bad woman, the birth of a daughter from her is a loss. You know, like mother like daughter, like father like son. If you marry a hoe, if you marry a girl that is immoral, what do you think she's going to teach your daughter? A bad wife will negatively influence the upbringing and well-being of children, leading to family problems. So these are some of the negative effects of being with a bad wife. according to Scripture. And now we're going to continue on with the positive effects of a good wife. As I mentioned earlier in the video at the beginning, the most important relationship you ever have will be with the woman you marry. From this union, it will become great peace or great misery. I've been on both ends of the spectrum. The women I had in the past, I was full of red flags. I had a knowledge gap. I was being lustful. I wasn't living up to the man that God called me to be. But when I really put in the work and I prepared myself to be a husband, now I've got a good woman in my life. And that's what I teach other men to do in the Relationship Mastery course, the exact blueprint, and how to master your relationship. I can tell you from experience, having a good woman in your life with a good reputation, it makes life worth living. Being taken care of well is a blessing. So, the book of Ecclesiasticus, also known as the Wisdom of Sirach, contains verses that tell us about the virtues of having a good wife. And here are some key points that emphasize why having a good wife is the ultimate status symbol. It says everything about a man. So, number 1, a good wife brings joy. Sirach 25 verse 8. A good wife is a joy to her husband, and he will live out the years of his life in peace. A happy and harmonious marriage can bring immense joy and contentment. Whenever I'm around my woman, I'm filled with so much love. She treats me so well. What do you want for breakfast, Christian? What do you want for lunch? What do you want for dinner? She bakes for me every week. She cooks, she cleans, she loves serving and assisting me. She helps out in my business. She prays for me every day. She nurtures me, surprises me with little gifts, tells me she loves me every day. She compliments me physically and my inequalities every day. She treats me well. Good communicator, soft-spoken, kind, loving, wise, knows her Bible well, modest. I mean, she brings me joy. If I can do it, you can do it too. A woman like that, you want to protect her. You want to provide for her. The reason why some of you guys, you're with a girl and you don't want to marry her is because you know she's not right for you. When you find that godly girl, you're going to want to do it right. Second of all, she's a source of support. Sirach 26:14 tells us that she's a help that is like a balanced weight and will not be fumbling with her treasures. So a good wife provides invaluable support and stability in a man's life. And we cross-reference this from what we read before with gold diggers. What is a gold digger going to do? She's going to waste away your wealth. But a good woman, she lives within your means, right? She supports you. She helps you. She gives you advice. She administers the home. She makes your life easier. She's an asset, not a liability. And I can attest from experience. That's what a good woman is. Third, her worth is beyond material wealth. What do we see in Proverbs 31, verse 10? A virtuous woman who can find, her price is far above rubies. Okay? And it rhymes with Sirach 26:13 right here that tells us that a wife's charm delights her husband and her skill puts flesh on his bones. The qualities and skills of a good wife enrich her husband's life in ways that material possessions cannot. The way she nurtures him makes him healthier, makes him happier. Since I've been with my wife, the way she takes care of me, I've actually put on more muscle. I've always been someone skinny. I used to be vegan years ago, so I'm still recovering in many ways. But since I've been with her, she's really nurtured my health. She's taken care of that area of my life, and it's pushed me to be better. She does push me to be a better man. And I can tell you, finding yourself a Proverbs 31 woman, her worth is far above anything financial. It's priceless. That's what a good woman is. And it's true. A good wife enriches a husband's life in ways that material possessions cannot. I take care of myself. My business is growing. I'm grateful for what the Lord has given me and the work I have put in. But my wife is number one. She's the most important thing in my life. And for those watching, if you have a good woman, you know what I'm talking about. And if you want a good woman, you're going to find out when you get one. Next thing, a good wife is a blessing from God. Sirach 26:3 tells us that he who has a good wife has a great blessing, and she will be granted among the blessings of the man who fears the Lord. This is cross-referenced with the Bible verse at the beginning of the lesson. Wicked woman gets a wicked man, but a godly woman is given to a good man that loves and respects God. So this verse suggests that a good wife is a divine blessing and a sign of a man's respect to God. Why would God bless you with one of his sweet daughters if you were going to misuse, damage and hurt her? The quality of woman you have is a reflection of you. Always. Next one. She's a companion in life. A wife is a husband's richest treasure, a helper like himself and a steadying column. Sirach 36:24. So a good wife is not just a partner, but a dependable companion in life's journey. When I'm not working, I spend practically nearly all of my free time with my woman. We do everything together. We travel together. We would, date nights. We just do fun activities. We always spend quality time bonding 24/7, because when you have chemistry and you're compatible, you want to be around each other all the time. She's my companion. She's the person I trust the most in this world. And that's how it should be. Next, she brings honor to her husband. A wife's authority over her husband is such as to give him no cause for bitterness. Your woman represents you. Sirach 25:22 tells us that a good wife enhances a husband's reputation and honor. This is what I'm talking about. Your woman represents you, and she's the highest form of status if she's a good woman. My friends, my clients, my business partner, they all see my woman. They all speak highly of her. My family, parents, my brother, neighbors, they all know my woman, and they all speak highly of her. What a feminine woman she is, what a good and honourable lady she is. Her reputation precedes her. And that says a lot about me, because I chose her. And of course, if I was immoral or godless, she wouldn't have chosen a man like me either. So this is why I am telling you, a good woman will enhance a man's reputation and his honor. That's the best asset you could have. It shows that you're a trustworthy man, that you're a loyal man. I'm saying this to give you guys some encouragement, to push you to find a better woman, to not settle. The next one, her virtue is her adornment. A good wife is the best of portions reserved for those who fear the Lord. Sirach 26:3. Her virtue and her character are her most significant adornments. Meaning a good woman's habits, her speech, her appearance, she's modest, she's clothed with dignity, she communicates in a feminine, loving, nurturing way. She's intelligent, she has integrity. Her words and actions align. People see that. She's humble. She's of good reputation. That's why the verse tells us that a good wife is the best of portions, always reserved for the men that fear God. The next one. She manages the household wisely. Do you think Jada Pinkett Smith or Nina Agdana are managing Logan or Will Smith's house and taking care of the home? Nah, because they're 50-50 feminists, right? A wife's devotion pleases her husband. Her thoughtfulness puts flesh on his bones. What does Proverbs 31 tell us about a wife? She looks well to the ways of her household. You can always tell that with a nurturing woman. Sirach 26:13 tells us that a good wife is efficient in managing the household and caring for her family. This is where femininity blossoms. Men, we provide the house, but women turn it into a home. We are the head of the home, and our women, they are the heart of our homes. When you have a good feminine woman, this is how it goes. My woman, she decorates, she adorns everything. She loves doing all the laundry, she loves doing the cooking and the cleaning. She loves doing all that, and she finds ways to just make me happy. I'll be working and she'll come in. Can I make you another coffee? What would you like to make you for lunch? Or she'll surprise me with something she's baked or a new recipe she's found. She pays attention to my needs. She can tell when I'm getting hungry. You know, she can tell when I'm full, when I would like a drink or a coffee or a juice or something, right? Because I don't drink alcohol. And she's always looking to attend to my needs, to take care of me, to nurture me. And women that are in tune in their femininity, they do that. They manage their household. She knows, all right, these clothes of yours are dirty, I'll wash them today. Oh, Christian, you need some new winter clothes. You need some new summer clothes. Oh, I'm going to get you this, I'll get you that. I'll organize it. She reorganizes everything around the home. That's her womanly space, and I let her have it. So that's what a good woman is. That's why she's so positive. It gives me the time to just focus on my work and make the money to take care of her. That's it. That's my duty. And I do it with honor because I love her. And I want to give her that life because of who she is and how she treats me. Second to last, she's a source of wisdom. A silent wife is a gift from the Lord, and nothing is so precious as a disciplined soul. Sirach 26 verse 14. A good wife's wisdom and understanding are invaluable. When a woman is moral, she has a good background, a clean sexual past, she has integrity, she's nurturing, she's feminine, she loves God, and her values are screwed on. You guys have to understand, women are very intuitive. And when they have good values, they can provide even more value to your life because they can see things from a different angle that you can't. Because men, we're very linear, we focus on one thing at a time. Women can be managing 4 or 5 little things at once. So your wife's input of a good woman is invaluable. That's why women are built to assist and be a man's helpmeet, made for you, for your assistance and support. So I will actually ask my wife many times, what do you think about this video topic? What do you think of this client? What are your thoughts on this? What are your thoughts on that? Because her insight is invaluable to me. I make the end decision, but I will still consider her input. Very important. This is a very good positive effect of having a good woman because she keeps you in check as well. If you screw up, if I make a mistake or I've gotten complacent somewhere or I miss something, she'll remind me. Oh, by the way, Christian, don't forget about this or that. And I'll remember because she's on top of those things. She's nurturing, she's looking out for my interests. And finally, she adds to her husband's longevity. Sirach 26:13 tells us that a wife's charm delights her husband and her skill prolongs his life. A harmonious marriage contributes to a longer and healthier life. There are actually many studies that back up this claim. That men and women, when there's love in marriage, there's intimacy, there's trust, it's a peaceful environment, your stress hormones are lower. I mean, that peace, that stability puts your nervous system at ease. You smile more, you feel better, releases more endorphins, you get a dopamine spike, you feel better, which can actually improve your metabolic rate in an emotional way. It's interesting how that works. So a good woman, you're just going to prolong your life. You see all these guys walking around with women that they don't love, they don't respect. They've got one foot in the grave. They're done for. They want out. They want to quit. But when you have a good woman, man, you want to be in shape for her. You want to take care of her. You want to be your best for her. And that's the inspiration you get. Femininity inspires masculinity. As much as a man, you can inspire your woman to be more of a lady. If you're masculine, she loves you, of course. So in conclusion, these are some of the positive effects of a good wife. And I can attest from personal experience that is exactly how it's benefited me and how it's improved my life. I absolutely love it. It's a blessing. So in conclusion, you can always assess a man's real value by the character of his wife. Guys can fake it in their business, in their career. They can make all the money just because they're insecure and they wanted vengeance over someone who told them years ago they couldn't make it. So now they make millions to prove someone wrong. And they want to get in shape because they were bullied and now they want to beat someone up because of revenge. But deep down, they're still little boys who haven't forgiven people and moved on. So then when they go and get a woman, they're looking for a superficial quality. They're not looking for an actual wife because they themselves haven't prepared to be a husband. Will Smith, Logan Paul, many other men have a knowledge gap. You watching may very well have a knowledge gap and not know how to be a good man, what it takes to actually vet a woman's character and assess and have clarity that she is wife material. And if you'd like help with that, you can head over to my website, Relearning Relationships, which will be linked down below in the description. You press Learn More. There's a 20-minute video that explains how the relationship mastery course is set up. And if it's right for you, you head to the end, book on the calendar time and a date that works for you. And I'll assess if relationship mastery is a good fit for you. Okay? So basically, in a nutshell, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the video. A good wife equals the highest form of status you will ever get as a man. And there is no two ways about it. And I do believe moving forward in the future, over the coming decade or two, there's going to be a shift. More women are going to come back and desire a traditional life, and so will more men. Our generation is starting to realize that this materialistic, selfish, live for yourself, individualistic mentality doesn't work. More men and women are starting to wake up and realize that there is a need to have a good spouse in your life, to have a family, because there is no success without succession, to pass down the bloodline and the legacy. And if you don't even love each other, how are you going to pass that down to your children? And a lot of men and women are realizing how important love is and family, because many people have come from a broken home. They've seen mum and dad have a miserable marriage. We see the divorce rate. And when something swings all the way to the left, there is an equal and opposite reaction all the way to the other side on the right. And things will change. And I do believe the new status symbol in the next 10 to 20 years isn't going to be a fancy car or the ability to travel around the world without worrying about your expenses. It will be the men and women that chose to marry someone they love and adore, and they can live a peaceful, humble family life and raise good, godly children who will go into the world and make it a better place and replicate that loving, successful marriage in their own lives. That will be the new status symbol. Family, love, and honor. So for you men who are serious and you want to master relationships and find a good wife, follow the steps on the website, book a call with me, and I'll get you signed up to Relationship Mastery. And I'll teach you exactly how I did it myself and what I teach to my clients. So with that said, hope you've all enjoyed the video. I'd love to hear your thoughts down below in the comment section. And I'll see you all in the next one. God bless all of you and your families.